Welcome to Fresh Catholic, a podcast for those who are converting, reverting, or simply want a fresh perspective of the Catholic faith to help them to open their hearts and minds to become closer to the love and goodness of Christ. My daily prayer is that I will be a bright light to others, to be filled with the love and light of Christ, so that when people look at me, they see Him radiating out from me for His glory. Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Balderas, and I'm so happy you're here. Well, I have some things to talk to you about today because we're friends, right? That's how I like to think of us. I consider us friends, and even though you're in 67 countries and over 1,000 cities, I imagine that we're just sitting down having a chat with a cup of tea or a glass of wine. And sometimes when you're with your friends, you will talk about really good things going on in your life. Sometimes you'll talk about things that you're struggling with, and you kind of commiserate with each other. Now, I don't have you here to actually do that with me, so I'm going to say some things that I'm struggling with right now. And the reason I'm bringing these up is I feel like these things I'm going to talk to you about today might be really relatable to you, or that you know somebody that's going through a similar thing. So that being said, I don't know that I have a solution to what I'm going to talk about or a tidy bow on the end of this episode, but it's kind of a work in progress with me personally. And I just want to kind of throw some things out at you. Now, I will also in this episode kind of say different things about how I came up with this podcast topic. And so just kind of go with me on this little journey we're going to go on today. So, life is something, isn't it? There are really good times, there's really good moments, there's really rough times, there's very upsetting things that happen, there are forks in the road, there are bumps in the road, there are tack strips in the road that just stop you dead in your tracks. And we have to learn to kind of go with the flow or figure out what we're going to do in certain situations. Now, some of us who don't have God in our life, I feel, and I was one of those people, so that's why I'm saying this. I'm not judging people who don't have God in their life. I just know how it was when I didn't have God in my life, and these different things would come up. So I didn't really have a good compass or anchor of something to go to pray to. I didn't pray really. And so I would go to human beings that I trusted. I would go to human beings that I didn't trust. I would get very bad information from some people and great information from others, particularly my father. So there's the people that don't have God in their life, and I feel like a lot of those people are seeking out answers in not the best places or with the best people. Or maybe it's people that they don't have a bad intention, but they just don't have the right answers. Then there's the people who I feel have God in their life or have a spiritual something in their life, maybe not God, that they're seeking out to help them figure out what their next step should be. And then there's the people who have the Lord in their life and who pray to Him and who believe in Him and who have faith in Him. And I think they handle things in a different way. And there's probably a bunch of other scenarios in there, but those are the three main ones that I'm considering here. So, like I say, life is like this. Life is unpredictable. I've certainly had many things where I was just whistling down one road and something came out of nowhere and changed my life forever, particularly my accident. So if you haven't heard that episode, go back to the very beginning. It's probably like episode 4 or something. Go back and hear about my accident. That was life-changing. But I had many things that have been where I was just kind of cruising along in my life and something came in and changed it forever, whether it be good or bad. But that's just life, right? We all have that. I don't know anybody that just kind of goes through life and doesn't have any problems and nothing comes up in their life and they think like, "Oh gosh, this is really simple and easy." I mean, if there's somebody out there like that, please contact me because I'd love to talk to you and find out how that must feel because I don't know anybody really that has that sort of experience or life history. So, on one hand, when you look at these things, the fork in the road, the bumps in the road, the tax strips in the road, you have a choice. You can either say, "Oh, my life is over. This is devastating. I can't come back from this. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to go into a hole. I'm going to curl up in a ball and suck my thumb." I mean, I've had those feelings and I've done some of those things, turn to, alcohol, turn to bad influences, trying to help me through these phases when I didn't have God in my life. And then when I did have God in my life, but it was a more watered down version of God, I don't think I handled things very well, and I was still having things thrown at me and like we do probably every year of our life. But I didn't feel like I don't know how to word it except to say I didn't really have who I thought I could go to that was, the infinite being of God. I would go to my dad, my human father, and get my answers from him. And he always had an answer and he always directed me the right way. And um, I think that's who I relied on in my life. And he never let anything like get at me. Like I still had my accident. My dad couldn't protect me from that. I still had an abusive relationship, my first marriage. My dad couldn't protect me from that. I have a son with a mental illness. My dad couldn't protect me from that. But for the most part, when something would come up that I was troubled about, or I had a question about, or I needed guidance with, that's who I went to. And when he passed away, thankfully, around the same time, I became Catholic and Jesus took over that role for my dad. And I'm so grateful for that. Now, sometimes, I do so much praying and so much talking to God that I'm not, sometimes I don't feel like I'm hearing back from him. But maybe it's because I'm doing all the talking and I'm doing all the praying and I need to learn to sit in silence, sit in that quiet and let God talk to me and let Jesus direct me and let Jesus put inspiration in my head and in my heart. And it's hard. It's hard to do sometimes, not just because I'm chatty and talkative or just constantly praying, but because I think that that's human nature, to overthink things, want to control things. And as we all know, we are not in control. Or if you think you're in control, you should probably reconsider that because we're really not in control of our life and our destiny. God is. Thank heaven God is. And we have to trust him with that. And we have to know that he knows best. I know I talked to a friend today who's really struggling. And every Saturday I see him, and every Saturday he asks me to continue to pray for him. He's looking for a job and he's feeling quite not hopeless, but destitute. And I said, I pray for you every day. And he said, I know, but nothing's happening. And I said, I know it's really hard to wait and it's hard to be patient, but you have to know that God knows best and something's coming. And we have to remember that. Now I'm giving this advice to my friend at church, and I'm thinking afterward, I'm giving him this good pep talk. And I'm thinking, but I need somebody to give me that pep talk because I struggle. I struggle with the patience. I struggle with the waiting. I struggle with when is it my turn, Lord? When is it my turn to have some peace and harmony? When is it my turn that I get to do what I want to do, or that my dreams get to come true, or that my goals get to happen? When is that happening, Lord? Because Knock, knock. I'm knocking. Are you there, Lord? Are you in there listening to me? Of course he is, but it's really hard to be patient. And when I come back, we're going to talk more about this. Be right back. Have you ever wanted to witness the miraculous and walk where saints have walked? This is your chance. Join me, Lori Balderas, host of Fresh Catholic Podcast, and Father Matthew Miguel as we walk with you through Italy's most sacred sites. From the Eucharistic miracles of Lanciano and Orvieto to the peace of Assisi, your heart will be transformed by these extraordinary moments of grace. You'll walk the hallowed streets of Rome, step into the history of the Vatican, and witness the places where faith has flourished for centuries. Each stop deepens your journey. Each miracle renews your soul. We invite you to join us on an unforgettable, life-changing experience.
Join us and let your faith come alive in Italy.
We'll be right back.
What does it mean to live a life of faith? What does it mean to live as a Catholic Christian? Hi, this is Bishop Kevin Sweeney, host of the podcast Beyond the Beacon. Join me as we unravel and discuss the mysteries of our faith, of the church, of living as Catholic Christians. Be inspired by engaging interviews with priests and seminarians, deacons, religious, women and men who live the life of faith day by day here in our Diocese of Paterson, in food pantries and classrooms and parishes and ministry. How is God working in their lives today? How is God working in our lives? Join me as I ask them and be part of the conversation on Beyond the Beacon. Listen and follow Beyond the Beacon wherever you get your podcasts or watch it on my YouTube channel. Please check the show notes for more details. Thank you and God bless you.
And I'm back. So, as they say, patience is a virtue. I'm trying hard. Now, like we just said, we're not in control. God's in control. I really like to be in control of my life. I used to be accused of being a control freak. I don't know if I liked that terminology, but I definitely like things to be in order, in control. I like to know what's going to happen to a degree. I mean, I know we never know exactly what's going to happen, but I like to plan out my day. I like to know what everybody's doing at the group around me. I kind of need to know who's coming, who's going. I like to have my life in some control like that. I used to, when I was raising my children, I would tell them, you need to tell me where you are, not so I can control what you're doing, but so I know you're okay. I know I feel safe and secure in that. I know with Simon, I like to know where Simon is during the day so that I feel secure in that. If I don't know where he is, it makes me feel insecure. So it's not that I want to control him or manage where he is and where he's going. It's more, it helps me feel safe. I know I used to tell my older daughter when she would go away to school, it was like 45 minutes away from our house. This was before cell phones, or no, maybe she had a cell phone, but it was before texting. And I would say, when you get there, you must phone me because I need to know you made it there safely. And she at first would say, but Mom, I don't have time. I'm rushing into school. I said, it's going to take 30 seconds and I'll know you're okay. And she was so respectful of that. And she would do that every time. My ex-husband used to phone me when he would get to work. I'm here. That's all I needed to know for the day. So I do like to have control in my life and to feel like things are in control, So that's not very realistic, honestly. There is so many things out there getting in our way, trying to divert our attention, trying to sabotage our plans. And when I say that, we all know it's Satan. We all know it's his little minions. We all know that he's trying to rock our boat and get under our skin. And I have got to be one of the most susceptible people to that. I just feel, he's rocking my boat all day long. I feel like he's causing me to have all sorts of frustrating thoughts and irritations. And like Deacon Don says at our church, our deacon, Lori, you give Satan way too much credit. Well, maybe I do, but I don't want to discount him and his shenanigans. I think he likes to cause a ruckus in the day in our plans. I think he likes to go inside people, work through people to cause problems. That's what I believe. I'm not saying all people are evil, but I think sometimes Satan likes to work through people to cause problems with people who are trying to be good and holy. That's what I believe. If you don't believe that, that's you, but that's what I believe. I always feel like I'm sensing him more and more, and I know I can feel it when something is from him, and I reject it. But it's hard sometimes when it's so present and it's so constant, and it's just, you get a seasick when your boat is being rocked all the time. You don't feel well, you feel out of sorts. So, I was starting to feel really upset about this. I was starting to feel like I was really taking a lot of this in, a lot of this feeling out of control, a lot of feeling like my life is not mine. My life is being run by others. My life is being distorted by other people's views or how they're acting towards me or towards others. My life is, well, I'm saying was because I'm going to tell you that last week it kind of came to a a pitch, and I was really not doing well. I was not feeling well in my heart and soul. And so I went to confession, and I was very pleasantly surprised. We have a new priest at our church, and I haven't been to confession with him before. And I thought, well, I don't know how this is going to go because I've never gone to him before. I was very pleasantly surprised, even though he's a younger gentleman. And you never know what people's life experiences are, what their training is, honestly. But I was very pleasantly surprised. He gave me some very good advice. And when I went to him, I was telling him that I was feeling a lot of anger and even hate towards some people and some situations that are in my life currently. And that I wasn't feeling like my life was my own, and other people were dictating what my life path was going to be. And I told him that it didn't feel good. I mean, I'm going to be 60 years old this summer, and I've been through so much where so many people have had, either purposely or accidentally have altered my life and my life path. Even if I'm cruising along and I'm like, this is the path I want to take, these are the goals I have, something or someone has come and pushed me off the path. And that's hard to not be resentful of that. I think we've all had experiences like that where we're thinking, this is my plan, this is my goal, and then something happens. I know I've talked to people where they have tried and tried and tried to get pregnant. They get pregnant and they have a miscarriage. Well, the rug was pulled out from underneath them. Or somebody who was excited about getting married and they had this dream in their head, and then something happened, God forbid, to the future spouse, or the marriage or never happened. That's a life-changing thing. There's deaths in people's families and friends. There's job changes. There's relocating of your household. Like recently we've had, hurricanes and these fires, and people's houses are demolished, and they have to, they're thinking, wait a second. Just last week we were having dinner in our big beautiful dining room, and now there's no house at all. So it's really hard when other people's choices and decisions affect your life currently and in the future. Now, when we do things to mess up our own lives, that's kind of a different story. If you had a plan and a goal and you got into alcoholism or drug addiction or pornography and you lost everything because you made conscious choices to do that, that's one issue. But I'm talking about when other people are inserting themselves in your life and it's causing your life to have to be altered or changed because of them. And so I am and was really struggling with these feelings of anger, animosity, hate even. And I do not want to hate. I don't want to hate anybody. I used to have a lot of hate in my heart. As I've said in past episodes, I was a whole different person. I was very angry, very hostile, very aggressive. I would hold a grudge for years and years and years. But I don't want to have hate in my heart. I don't want to have anxiety and animosity and anger in my heart. I just don't. And God certainly doesn't want that for me. So I wasn't feeling very good. And I went to confession and I said, I don't want these feelings. And I'm praying and praying, Lord, please, please help me to not feel this way about these people or these situations. Please, Lord, please. And I told Father, I said, I I don't I don't know what else to do besides pray. I don't know what else to do. I'm still feeling this way. I pray and pray and pray, but I'm still feeling this way. I'm not feeling relief. I'm not feeling like it's working. I'm not feeling convinced. Like I'm saying, Lord, please help me to take away these feelings. And he's going, okay, Lori, I know you want to have good thoughts and feelings, so I'm just going to remove those feelings from you. It's not, I'm not getting that answer and that vibe. I'm still feeling it. I'm very distracted by these people. They're knocking me off my path. They are discouraging my future. They are throwing a problem. So what his advice was, he said, because I had 3 particular individuals I was talking to him about. So he gave me advice on each scenario. And basically what it comes down to is that there's certain things I can do to have a better attitude or to not allow those feelings to overtake my day and overtake how I'm responding to people and things. I can do that. But ultimately, he said, God is the one that needs to handle these situations. He is full aware of what's going on. He's full aware of what they're doing, what's in their heart, what's in their mind, and same with you, Lori. He knows. And so instead of trying to control the situation and say, well, I'm praying this, and so I need the answer and I need the instant relief, he said, Lori, he gave me specific things to do first that I can do, that Lori Balderas can do to change the situation or how I'm responding to the situation or how I am handling the situation. But God is the one that needs to work on their hearts, soften their hearts, cause them to maybe see the light of something that they're doing that's hurting and harming others. Maybe this is going to be a conversion for them where he is going to handle it. He knows his timing. He knows what his goals are for those people because he loves all of us. As they say, the rain falls on all of us. The sun shines on all of us. He loves all of us, but he's full aware of what's going on. He's full aware that in my heart, I'm feeling anger and hatred. He's full aware of that. And I know that. I'm not pulling the wool over his eyes for sure. So I appreciated that Father was trying to get across to me that there's certain things that I'm in control of, that I can handle, that I can work on, that are outward and inward, but ultimately he's in charge. So I left confession. He gave me a couple little homework ideas, we'll say, of things to, get support from other people about, and also just a plan of what I could do moving forward that would help me to feel better and help me to feel better about him being in control of everything and to kind of leave it. He said, just leave it and walk away and work on these things. So I left there and I was feeling pretty good. Like I always feel great when I leave confession. I highly recommend it. If you don't go very often or you haven't been in years, please go. It's really important. It's not scary. I felt so wonderful when I left. He gave me a big hug. He knows that this is very stressful time for me, and he also knows what I value, and he also knows that there's certain things that he said God wouldn't want me to give up on, or God would want me to really work on strengthening and not allowing, negative people or Satan to get me off track. So I left there and I was thinking, "Oh, I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty good." But I just have to tell you, I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling. I'm probably going to have to go back to confession again because it's not that the confession didn't go well. It's not that I didn't understand it, but I'm still struggling that I'm not getting relief from the other entities that are causing me angst. And so that's not working for me because I really, in my heart and in my soul, I really want to not feel this way. So let me tell you something that happened today, and I will tell you when I come back. Be right back. Let me tell you about all things Fresh Catholic. So buckle up. We have a podcast with weekly topic episodes and Fresh Catholic Daily, the daily Mass readings, on all platforms and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. That would really help. Our website, freshcatholic.com, has an online store with merchandise and coffee, a blog, comics, info about our pilgrimage to Italy in September of this Jubilee year, and Fresh Catholic courses with educator Charles Merritt, including the Hail Mary, the Our Father, Sin, Sacraments and Grace, Advent, Angels, and Virtues. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Fresh Catholic with short videos every day. Email me at lori@freshcatholic.com. I'd love to hear from you. And please consider becoming a Patreon or sponsor to help support our mission of drawing people to the faith or back to the faith. Phew! Spread the word and join the fun. Thanks so much. Bye. And I'm back. So I'm a work in progress, as we all are. And again, I think what I'm telling you is probably relatable. I think we all have moments of feeling, anger at other people, maybe even hatred. And again, I don't like that word, but I'm trying to be honest with you about my actual feelings and not like gloss it over or candy coat it or make it seem like it's just not that big of a deal. I consider the word hate very serious. And I, again, don't want to hate anybody. And so I went to confession a whole week ago. And this week, I've been, like I say, kind of, listening to what Father told me, really praying and saying, Lord, just take this from me. You're in charge. You know best. I need to be patient. I know, Lord. I know you have a beautiful, wonderful plan for me. I know it's coming. I don't know when, but I know that you have something for me. And not feeling good, still not feeling good. I'm not really seeing a change, and we all know God takes a while to show us things, and I'm trying to be patient, but it's really difficult right now. And so I went to Mass this morning, like I always do, and then on Saturday mornings, I always go into the Adoration Chapel, which I love. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And last week when I went to confession, I didn't go into the Adoration Chapel after. I didn't have time. I was on a schedule. But today I went in there and of course it's beautiful. It's serene. I'm very close to the monstrance, right there with Jesus. I can feel him. I know he's in the room. I know he's listening. And I just went in and sat very quietly. I always go in and say, thank you, Lord, for bringing me here today. But then I just sat quietly. And I know he knows what's in my heart and what's hurting and what I'm not feeling relief from. and what I'm feeling out of control of and what's chaotic. And he knows that I have hopes and dreams that I'm trying to accomplish, that I've been waiting for, and that other people are getting in the way of. He knows all that. He knows that when I go into Mass, that I'm struggling right now. There's somebody that I just struggle with that's causing me to be distracted when I'm trying to worship. And so I went into the Adoration Chapel, knelt down just right in front of Jesus, very quiet. And what I heard from him was, I am your joy. I am your future. I am your path. I am your shield. I am your everything. And, it was so quiet. I know he's taking care of everything. I know he's hearing me. I know he knows I don't want hate in my heart. I know he knows I'm being challenged. I know he knows I'm being tested. And I know he knows that I love him and I trust him and I need him. And I know he wants the best for me and Simon. And I know he wants us to have a good, happy, peaceful, harmonious future with him. I know he knows that. And I know that I have to rely on him more, trust him more, be more patient. But I'm human and I'm a sinner and I'm weak. And I don't like injustice. But he is everything. He's my everything. And I know he's going to make it okay. So I know that even though I'm crying and I'm upset and I don't feel that I've mastered this at all, maybe I'll never master it. I just wanted you to know how I feel and that I need your prayers. Because I don't want to feel this way anymore. I just want to look to him and know that he's in charge and in control, and that's all I need. So I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Thanks for coming today. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. Now go out and be a bright light in someone's life. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh. Fresh Catholic is produced, edited, and recorded in Ventura, California.